The Grind Waterfowl TV is brought to you by Dakota Decoy, premium gunning decoys for demanding hunters. Lucky Duck, masters of deception. Kent Cartridge, quality matters and performance counts. Mud Buddy, the king of mud motors. Excel, the boat to own. Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, the most accessible online retriever training program. Yoder Smokers, handcrafted in the heartland. Rig 'em Right Waterfowl, the industry leader in specialty waterfowl products. OnX Hunt, know where you stand. Benelli, simply perfect. Cowboy's Wild Game Washer, as clean as you can get 'em. And these fine sponsors.
This week on The Grind, Bill heads to Oklahoma to hunt with Roy Henson of Grindstone Outfitters. With the season coming to an end, Bill and the crew are hoping to find some Oklahoma green before it's all over.
So this trip, we jumped in the car, headed to Oklahoma, and I got to meet Roy Henson, who I've heard a lot about from Tim No at Lucky Duck. They come down and hunt with him a bunch. I've never had the opportunity to hunt with Roy, so I was really looking forward to it. He started Grindstone Outfitters, I believe, 4 years ago, and he's really got it rolling, and he's got beautiful country here. He literally travels in a 3-hour circle around his camps looking for birds, so he goes out of his way to find you birds.
We founded Grindstone in 2016. We started it with the passion of just chasing waterfowl. Me and another buddy of mine had previously guided for another outfit, and we kind of went our own ways and decided, heck, why not run with it?
Well, it is getting towards the end of January. I think it's January 20th, or days are all running together, but we're in northern Oklahoma. They found us a little duck hole this morning. Actually, they've got some big Canadas coming in here and also some ducks. It's been cold down here, so there's a lot of ice on these little ponds. This one's got a little open water on it. So we've got kind of a goofy wind for our setup, but running a pretty micro spread. We've got 3 dozen fully flocked Dakotas out, and we're gonna put out a couple dozen lucky floaters. And we've brought a HD spinner. We may not use it. These ducks it's the end of the year, they're getting a little skittish. So we've made a mistake though and not brought a spinner before, so we made sure we had the spinner with us. But we're running some agitators. Our hope is they're gonna just side swipe those decoys and we'll side shoot them as they come in here. But first time in Oklahoma, hopefully we can get some Oklahoma green and some bonus Canadas. There's our shot. They're gonna be right there because they're gonna try and get into this corner. So when we got there, Oklahoma's like everywhere else, the weathermen crossed us up a little bit on the wind. It was supposed to be more of a west wind, and we get there and we've got, it was pretty much a north wind with maybe just a touch of west into it. And the only place that we could set up on this pond because of the depth was the point we were on. Typically a duck is not gonna come overland into the decoys. And we did have we had some goose floaters out right in front of us, and then most of the duck decoys were out on the point. And our hope was, because of that wind, they would slide over the decoys. I knew they were gonna, ducks, they just do it. They try to get above the decoys as far as they can go. And there was an ice shelf probably 30 yards ahead of us out in the deep water. So I was pretty sure they might do that. They'd hit that point, kind of glide across the decoys, and the birds that we got that morning, I mean, they were perfect right in the decoys. I like not having a dog. I don't pull the trigger very much. This is kind of fun. Boy, he was a nice one. Double banded, you see that? Good shot, guys. Nice chicken. That modding you too? You get your ass out and do it. You're young. Did you get wet?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I just ejected that one.
Oh, or did you?
Never give your gun to Bill.
There you go. Good shot. We're going to wrap up our first morning here in northern Oklahoma with Roy Henson and Grindstone Outfitters. And we had a pond, basically, was what we had here, a little lake, but really deep. So we couldn't get the decoys out very far from the shoreline, which is normally fine. But once again, the Oklahoma weatherman's about like the South Dakota weatherman. They called for a little bit of a west wind, and we had almost a straight north wind. So it was kind of goofy this morning. The birds were kind of having to come right over our right shoulder. I didn't think they'd do it, but we were set up on a little point, and they were coming over the top of the bank, which most of the time they won't. They'll kind of side shoot it. So we did okay. We picked away at a few ducks. They were side shots. The shots we had were perfect. Mix of ducks. We got pintails, mallards, and ringbills, believe it or not, here in Oklahoma. But we're going to call it this morning and get ready for day 2.
Hey, I'm Josh, and this is your training tip of the episode. So when it comes to training a hunting retriever, what type of gear do you need to actually accomplish that mission? If you've done some shopping around or you've thought about it, maybe you're thinking it takes a lot, but I'm here to tell you, you can get by on some bare bones training gear, and here are the essentials that you're going to need. Number one, you're gonna need a place board. This is the foundation, right? If you think about waterfowl hunting, when we're hunting with our retrievers, our dogs are remaining in one spot while we're waiting on the ducks to come in. So place training is crucial. A clicker and treat. This is one of the most valuable tools that you can use, especially when you're starting early, because you can use this to help ignite your puppy's learning ability, and you help develop a good connection with them. If you want to learn more about how to use a clicker and treat, go over to our website and we will show you how to really maximize time with your puppy. The next thing you're gonna need is a training lead, right? It's important to keep your dog safe. You know, maybe you're going to some boat ramp that you haven't been before, whatever it may be. And it's probably best not to just let your dog run around. So have your dog on the lead, have it under control. The next thing you're gonna need is a whistle, right? You're gonna need the ability to communicate to your dog out at a distance. That's if you're gonna take training further. Or if you just want just a basic hunting retriever, you don't necessarily have to have that if you just wanna focus on a dog that goes and marks the birds, goes out and gets them. However, look, if you start training this dog, you're going to absolutely love it and you're gonna wanna take the training to the next stage. With all that gear in mind, you're also gonna need training dummies, right? You're gonna need something for your dog to retrieve so that you can practice retrieving, which is what you're gonna be doing in the future when you're hunting your dog. Now, I highly recommend the fire hose training dummies that you can find at retrievertrainingsupply.com. Those fire hose training dummies have a very natural, realistic, lifelike feeling, especially when the dog grabs onto it, which also helps develop a very good hold, unlike some of the other training dummies I have trained with. And it's very important when you're training, right, that you practice good, right? That you practice good repetition, because every rep has the ability to set you forward in training or set you back. And it has the ability to help condition a behavior further in, or it has the ability to erode one of those behaviors. So that's what I recommend for the training dummies. And then you're also gonna need a launcher. This is one of the more luxury items, but it's also something that can really enhance your training and make your experience even better with your retriever. That is the basic gear, the basic essentials. Of course, there's a lot more gear that you could be using, but if you had that gear right there, you can take a young puppy and you can turn it into a hunting, retrieving machine. Hope you've enjoyed this tip. Now back to the grind.
So after we wrapped up day one hunt, we got back to the lodge and we were talking back and forth with Roy. He had his boys running everywhere, and Grant, one of his guides, lives about 30 miles south of where we were staying. He had found a nice little duck pond, another one of these cattle dams that was holding a pile of geese and a pile of ducks. So that was it, that was game on.
I'm gonna walk on the edge and break a big chunk and push it under. Over? Oh yeah. Woo, it's cold.
Well, we're on day 2 here in northern Oklahoma. Joking with the boys this morning, Roy, I think we're closer to Texas than we are Oklahoma today, but we had about an hour and a half drive this morning. We got up really early. Came out here, there's a good number of ducks and honkers using this little loaf pond yesterday. And we started breaking ice, probably 75 yards from where the birds were actually sitting. It was really dark when we got out here. Broke a bunch of ice out, and I got to the edge where I was breaking the ice out and I saw the open water. So we're taking the time right now, we're moving our spread down about 75 yards to where the birds are actually sitting. Froze up overnight, it's cold, there's ducks trying to get in here right now. We're gonna see what happens here. We got a big hole, open water out in front of us. It worries me a little bit, but hopefully the decoys and the Lucky will pull them in here. So day 2 in Oklahoma with Roy Henson and Grindstone Outfitters. That open water is scaring me a little bit out there. So on this hunt, once the sun started coming up and it turned into daylight, we could see, we did not know the open spot in the middle of this pond. And what the boys think happened is the geese were on the edge, pond edge, moved out to the center of the pond and kept it open for safety. And then I'm sure they were crawling up on the ice sleeping, but they had this hole out in the middle. Alermed me a little bit because we had a pretty small little pocket of open water, which we thought was the only open water, but there was a big open area right out in the middle. So I was pretty sure it was going to be tough to convince them to come over. Good shooting, guys. Good shot. Oh, good shot. Get. Good shot. Shot, Luke.
I could not see with that sun. I had to wait for him to get out of it.
Now he wanted to talk to.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting ready to call it here on day 2 in Oklahoma, and we had a nice little, it's a dammed up little, it was probably a little creek they dammed up to make a little watering hole for the cattle. It's a little deep. All the holes we've been hunting are deep, so we can't get the decoys out very far. But it was a good morning. We killed close to 15 ducks. Mixed bag. We're seeing way more pintails here than anything. Way more pintails than mallards. There's a lot of ringbills down here too, so we had a little diver shoot too, but it was fun. We're gonna get things picked up and grab some lunch, do some scouting, get ready for day 3.
Next week on The Grind, we catch back up with Bill in Oklahoma. With mixed bags the first 2 days, the crew takes some time to pattern new Kent loads and get prepped for a day in the timber in hopes of finding nothing but greenheads flying through the trees.